Hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell, and you know what time it is. It is 8 a.m. Eastern, Saturday morning, my favorite time of the week. It is time for a Sales Logic. Hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter. Mark and I actually got to connect in person this week.
Twice in what, a month? We've had dinner together. This is amazing.
I know, and we will next week as well.
And three. Wow, this is creepy.
Exactly. So we got a really good show. Great question that comes from one of our audience members, and I think something really relevant that we all can pay attention to, and we all need to be integrating into our sales process. So let's rock and roll. All right, welcome back to Sales Logic, the show where we dive into the strategies, discuss the steps, everything that you need to know to sell more effectively. Now, before we dive into the show, before Mark tells you what we've got on tap, I like to tell you how the show works, because the show is about one person, and that is you. We start the show off every week with a question from you, the audience. We talk about a hot topic, we recommend a book, and because we want you to leave with return on investment, we leave you with a lightning round. So, Mark, what is up for today?
Well, the topic today is integrating video into the sales process. Hey, this is a real key topic, and we've never really discussed this before. The question comes from Shanta Hooks in Atlanta. She says, do you have any tips or ideas on how to effectively use video in sales? That's how we came up with the topic. So, hey, send us your questions. Okay. So I threw it into the Sales Logic brain. And yes, it came back with a number of things, but two I want to highlight. One, use video to help you with demonstrations and use it with testimonials. Two ways that a lot of people don't think past. So, hey, the Sales Logic brain, if you're part of the mastermind, you get access to it. Tremendous resource. So, Meredith, jump in. What are your thoughts? Video.
Yeah, I think this is such a good question, because I think that far too many salespeople don't incorporate video. And so let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to start with really low-hanging fruit. And I think that, first of all, you just need to start shooting videos. So many of us are so uncomfortable with video, and you've got to, pull your phone out, get used to using video, maybe practicing a little bit with video before you actually start reaching out with video. So you've got to really get comfortable with the process.
Something to add to that, though, make it be you. Personalize it. Make it be you. I don't think if I'm doing a video one-to-one, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just like a conversation, it's just one-to-one. Now, if I'm doing a video for mass, like you and I do a lot for social media, et cetera, yeah, that needs a little more professionalism to it. But if you're just doing it as a sales contact, as a sales touch, don't worry about making it perfect. Yeah, you got to get over that little, this is creepy, I'm on video. But you know what's interesting? People are seeing you on video. It's like hearing your own voice, right? I mean, oh, my voice sounds weird. Yeah, but you know what? That's how other people hear it, and don't worry about it. Get over it.
Well, it's funny. Years ago, I'm talking 20 years ago, we started using video in my husband's dental practice. And people used to come in and they would say, I feel like I know him. And, they would come in and they would recognize him, and they would basically give him a hug when they walked into the practice, first time they'd ever been there. And I think that's the importance of video in sales. We've got to remember, as salespeople, we are no longer selling a product. There is nothing that we sell that somebody can't buy someplace else. So think of video as an opportunity for people to get to know you and to really start there.
So true there, because again, in this AI-driven world and automation and so forth, that's the yin. And we talked about this a week ago. We have to do the yang. It's the personalization. It's the relationship. And that's where we have to be. Dave Sanderson, great member of our mastermind, he says when he was in a sales role, he would shoot video for an executive presentation with their associates who shared their key issues. So they understood it. What a great method to communicate with. See, this is the whole thing. We have to find more ways. And I'm not saying this, we got to use video, but what it does is it creates another connection point. And this is what people are looking for. We can't just communicate by way of email. We just can't communicate by way of telephone. We have to use multiple mediums, and video gives us another one.
Yeah. And I think, in talking, another thing that Dave said is basically using it in the prospecting process. So let's start there, because we've got some tips on some really good areas of sales to use video, and prospecting is one of them. But there's two keys that I've got for you there. Number one, personalize it, like Mark said. The second is keep it tight. A video really, in my opinion, cannot be longer than 60 seconds. Nobody's going to watch it longer than 60 seconds. I just did one the other day on it was kind of like a warm lead. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell. We're connected on LinkedIn. I noticed you went to the University of Pittsburgh. I went to Penn State. Anybody who in that area would know that you went to one of those, one of those two colleges. I work quite a bit in your industry. Here's the top 3 issues we see. I'm going to follow up in an email with the top 3 solutions you need to turn uncertainty to competitive advantage. It was tight, it was relevant, and it was personalized.
Now, I'm going to have to say, you didn't add that 2-second pause in there between "we are Penn State." You didn't add that pause in there. That is requirement. So anyway, but yeah, this is so key. You were keeping it tight. I'd almost say 60 seconds feels too long. I mean, if somebody sends me a video, I'm a little hesitant to open videos. Do I have time? Am I in the right space for it? And it's got to be short. You think about it like voicemails. This is where I think when we first began leaving voicemails years ago, back in the rotary dial phone, I don't know if that was around back then, we'd leave long voicemails. Now voicemails are getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And I think this will be the eventual evolution of video messages we send out to everybody.
Yeah, I think that Thomas is making such a great point to it. Everybody's gone virtual less than 5 years ago, so clients are used to it. But I think it's important. I think it is a great tool to use in the prospecting department. It's a great way to easily connect and differentiate yourself a little bit right from the start. But I can't stress enough, you've got to get comfortable with the with the video process, and you've basically got to practice with that. LinkedIn also does this thing called direct messages. I have never used that, but I certainly have had people use it with me, where they reach out on LinkedIn. It's a little 30-second video greeting. And I think it's a little unexpected and stands out a bit in a crowded box. I think it's worth giving it a try.
Well, see, this whole thing, it's trying different things. And go back to your comment where you said you got to do enough and get comfortable with it. It's a little bit like sales calls. Remember your first sales call you ever made? I mean, I remember it was bad. It was bad. But over time, you get better and better. This is why you've got to be doing video content. Natalie, another member of the mastermind, she says she loves the daily videos. As part of our mastermind group, you get a daily video from either myself or from Meridith. And this whole thing, because it creates another way of staying in touch with us. So think of videos, not just part of your prospecting process, but literally your sales and communication process. Because I think there's a tremendous way. This is where I think about it. And I recalled this. I was dealing with an energy company. I can't share the name, back here a few years ago. And we were dealing with a customer, had a number of different divisions. And one division successfully implemented what we were doing. We went out on the floor and shot a very short video. And it was just myself and the salesperson for the other company. And we sent it to the other divisions. And because we did a video, it allowed the other divisions to say, okay, I see how you implemented this. I see how this worked. And it ultimately created a tremendous amount of additional benefit for those other divisions. And we got additional sales. So think about different ways that you can use video. It goes way beyond just prospecting.
Yeah. And I think that, once you develop a prospect, kind of to what Natalie is talking about, this is probably the most effective way I use video. And that is that I use it a lot in my nurturing sequence. I use it a lot once I've made contact. And what I do, it's like my nurturing sequence is 70% value add, 30% asking for business. And in the 70% value add, I'm trying to share tips that I think would be valuable for them. positioning them in my mind as a resource, as an expert, and as an authority, that somebody they can count on to help them grow their business. Would those tips be as effective in an email? I can communicate a lot more, I think, effectively and quickly in a video, because the second piece people get is my passion and my energy, despite, and in addition to my information. So I think it's effective there too.
See, if you think about it, what you're doing is you're taking the value of a phone call, because the value of a phone call is you're able to communicate who you are. You're able to demonstrate a little more personalization, but you're now sending it by way of an email. It's interesting. Now they're seeing you, they're hearing you. It's all the benefits of the phone call now delivered in the email, which, guess what? It allows you to reach them in a different way. So I think it's a powerful method, and it's going to allow you to stand out from any other salesperson who is trying to reach out to them. Wait a minute, I'm receiving a video email from Meridith. It's going to allow you to stand out different. So this is where video becomes a key critical piece of your prospecting, of your nurturing, of your entire sales process.
Yeah, I love what Thomas is saying here, that most people are on their phones, and instead of reading a text, that may be preferred to listen and watch the message. Do you know, Thomas, this is such a great point. I can't tell you how many times I am driving in my car, and I will listen to a video message, but I won't read an email or I won't read a text in my car. But I've got one client that actually communicates with me through video. He shoots me videos with questions and stuff, and I always listen to him in my car because it's an easy way to do it. So you're making such a great point. One of the other ways I feel like I've transitioned in this last year to effectively use video is most of my sales are complex, meaning that I am talking to one of several decision makers, and most of those decision makers I never get to interact with. That leaves me at the mercy of the decision maker I'm talking to sell me to the other people. Nobody sells Meridith better than Meridith. So I have started using video. I'll just say to the decision maker, you've got a lot on your plate. Let me just kind of wrap this message up in a video. You can just play it for the committee, and then the committee can decide from there. The decision maker loves it because they don't like to sell that. And again, it lifts me off a sheet of paper and differentiates me from my competitors.
This is one of the key things. It's a differentiator. This is why I love the idea that I can take a testimonial and I can send somebody a 5 or 10-second testimonial with the person's permission that you're sending it. Hey, can you just give me 10 seconds as to what you like about what we're doing here with you guys? May you allow me, or will you allow me to share that with others? Most people will, because again, they're not going to give you that. And what does that do? It gives you an absolute proof. There are so many ways that we can use this. Again, demonstration. There are so many ways that we can integrate video. Here's the thing. If you're going to do a demonstration of a product or a service or something like that, make sure that you include your face. Make sure that you include yourself in it. Because again, it just creates that little bit of personalization. Yeah.
I love what Bryn is saying here. Is definitely the queen of social media and LinkedIn. It's so easy to send a video message in LinkedIn. It's only available on mobile, but a quick hello to a first-degree connection with an invite to an event, sharing a link to connect, they would find helpful, or let them know how much you appreciate the content that they shared. Mark, we've got a LinkedIn user here, which I think is making a great point. They said, I think it's not about if you want to have a video or not. I think it's more about if the person even wants to have that in the first place.
Oh, I love that question, because I'll tell you what, people send me video, and unless I really know the person, I'm not going to open it. I am just not going to. I just, because again, I don't want to take the time. I'm speed on everything. But if I have a little bit of a relationship with them and they send me a video, I will open it. So this is a great question from the LinkedIn user. Do not think just because you think it's a good idea that the other person is going to think it's a good idea. This is where you've got to be trying different mediums. But here's what I think. This is going to be an evolving process. Video, we're still on the infant stage of video. Video has been around as a messaging tool for, 7, 8, 9 years now. But we're still really in the infant stage. And it will have its day. just like everything else, everything comes and goes, but there's still a tremendous amount of upside to it. But remember, it's not what you think, it's what the person on the other end thinks of the video.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little challenging with that. I don't ever look at videos either, but I'm impressed that people sent them. It does spark a little bit of oh, that was a little different. This person took a little bit more time. They took a little bit more effort. And remember, this is just a part of the process. Another place where I use a lot of video, and this has been a switch for me in the last year, I never send a proposal without sending a video with it. I used to be adamant that I would not send a proposal unless I could get you on the phone and walk you through the proposal. But that's something, I don't know how other people feel, but I've really felt that shift in the last year. Like, we'll have a great conversation. We'll talk through everything. We'll talk a little bit about budget and price in that initial call. So I'm kind of over that hump. And they want a layout, and they want a proposal, and they want it to be able to compare it to other people that they're interviewing. I always send a video with that because I want people to understand, again, everything that's going in the price. And I don't want them to rely on the notes that they just took.
Now, that's an interesting play on it, and I like that. But I'm going to tell the listening audience, don't rely on that 100%, because you and I are both in agreement. You really want to send a proposal with legs attached. You really want to have a phone call. You want to have that Teams call, Zoom call, whatever. But if you can't, that's your backup play. But I think what I don't want to see is, I don't want to see salespeople, oh, wow, that's my perfect excuse. I never have to get them on the phone again. No, you've got to be, you really want to try to have that conversation if at all possible.
Yeah, I'll give you a great example. Thursday morning, I had a call with a technology company, and we walked through everything. And she wanted to know, like, what I would offer, everything that would be involved, how the process would work. And she wanted to know price. And then she was walking into a meeting where they were going to be looking at 4 other people who do exactly what I do. I was not invited to be a part of that process. And so therefore, the best thing I can do, that's where I kind of used a combination of the two. I'll sell the committee, and I'll basically walk through the proposal. I don't have any control over whether they show the video or not, but boy, it's a real differentiator.
It gives the person who's carrying you into the meeting an additional level of confidence. And that many times is just right there, the winning factor. So that's good. I think that's an excellent strategy. I love Thomas's comment here. He says, personalizing the video is important. You're right. This is so key. If you're just sending out a factory made video that you're sending out, now this is like AI created this video. No, it's got to be personalized, because again, this is how you come through with your own tone, your own body language, and who you are. And the way you personalize it, make sure that you use that person's name in the video. Make sure you reference something of them, kind of like what you said right up at the top of the show in terms of that LinkedIn person you followed up with. Personalize it to them, not just you.
Yeah, the other place I use video, and I know we've got to jump into the book here in a minute, but I just started using video here too, is thank you videos. Is the moment I get the deal, is the moment they choose me over the competition, I'll shoot a video and I'll just say, thank you. I'm so excited to be working with you. I really appreciate, you choosing me, and we're going to work together to make your event or whatever an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, we're getting some great comments, great conversations on video. And clearly, those of you who are watching us live, you're seeing us right here on video. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, hey, by the way, we're now putting video out on Spotify. So our podcast, Spotify, have the video. So if you want to catch us on the go, you can do that. But anyway, hey, ready for the book?
I am ready for the book. I could talk about video all day long and how many different ways we use it, but it is time to jump into the book.
It is book. Hey, Marcus Sheridan, great friend of ours. Love him. The book, The Visual Sales. Marcus is so sharp, so smart. Some comments, thoughts?
If you don't follow Marcus Sheridan, you really should follow Marcus Sheridan. And this book just really goes into, I think, the nuances of differentiating yourself in the sales process. Like, in engaging people on another level that positions you as the salesperson as the true product that's being sold.
And he's got a history of being on the front edge. If we ever had the time to go through his backstory of the pool industry he had, absolutely mind blowing. But anyway,
you know what we should do, Mark, is we should get him on the Sales Logic Expert Exchange.
We will make sure that he is on the Sales Logic Expert Exchange, and that's open to everybody. And we do a Q&A with our members. We do it once a month, and it's absolutely fantastic. The name of the book, again, The Visual Sales by Marcus Sheridan. Okay, lightning round. You ready?
Yeah.
Top 10 ways you should be using AI in sales. Go.
Number one, you should be doing it for research.
2, make sure you are using. Don't think you can run from it. Use it. It beats Google any day.
I think you should be using AI in sales to get some ideas on questions that you should be asking of this client.
Use AI as a drafting tool, not as a finishing tool. In other words, I can use AI to help me get input as to what I should put in an email, but that's a draft. That's not a finishing tool. I still got to put my perspective on it.
Yeah, I think it's a great tool to find prospects. I mean, you could put in there your exact avatar and ask it to recommend companies and contacts that would be good for you.
Use AI every day for 15 minutes to learn more about your specific industry that you're dealing with. We've talked about having your ICP. What's the industry that you deal with? Use it for 15 minutes a day to learn more about your industry.
Yeah, I think that you need to use it to create really amazing content. It's probably, I ask it a lot, like, what are the biggest challenges in the industry I work? What are their biggest questions? So using it to help you create content. Don't use the content straight out of AI. Use it as a starter for you, but it's a good way to decide which content you should be writing.
Don't get caught up in all the various programs, whether it be ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, Perplexity, and everything. Don't get thinking you got to check all of them out. Just go with one and stay with it.
Yeah, I would say that you need to, I'm sure there are some things that you are doing that AI could automate for you. And I would explore that, because the highest and best use of you as a salesperson is to be in front of the customer. So are there things that AI could be doing for you that you could automate?
I love that approach. And along with that, take AI and ask it specific questions and ask it as to how Meridith Elliott Powell might answer the question or something like that. Again, now you can get inside of individual people's brain a lot more. Because what it's going to do, it complements what you're reading in books. It complements what you're reading online. Hey, why don't you share one more? I've lost total counts because
I don't
use AI to count for us. No.
Yeah. I would say that you need to use AI to predetermine customer objections or issues that they would be having to closing the sale, so that you can do your research and you can be prepared.
And number 10 that I'll share, or whatever it is, make sure that you're using AI to stay refreshed. In other words, you've got past clients you haven't worked with in a while. Go out and find out what are the key issues that company's facing, that industry's facing. Use it for very granular type of information. Hey, with that, I want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said has earned you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right, Mark, who do we have on the Sales Logic Expert Exchange this month?
Well, we have Lauren Bailey coming up here in November, and that is going to be a great show. And then in December, we have Art Subject. January, we have Sherry Leviton, and the hits just keep on coming. So get signed up for the Sales Logic Mastermind Expert Exchange. And more importantly, join the mastermind itself, because, again, it's powerful. It's great.
Yeah. If you're looking to make 2025 your best year on record, jump into the Sales Logic Mastermind. This is where we really dive deep into what it takes to really excel in sales and take you out of there from being by yourself on the sales journey and joining a community that can support, help you, and hold you a little accountable. All right, go have an amazing week. We'll see you right back here next week, 8 a.m. Eastern, for another episode of Sales Logic.